Man, what's going on, y'all? So, too many times in life, man, I just kind of feel like the reason why a lot of things don't work out is because, naturally we have all these unrealistic expectations. Whether that's from social media, how we see our friends living, or whatever it is, a lot of times we go into situations wanting a certain outcome. Whether for men, that's going into a dating situation and you're thinking about the sex that you want. The things that you're thinking are going to become your body movements, the way you're acting, the way you're coming off. So if you're thinking about sex, you're forcing vibes now because you're trying to control the narrative. And now she can pick up on that. Now that you're not going to get the very thing that you want. Same thing with women. A lot of times women are trying to, I want a husband. I'm only dating with attentions. Woman that says that, you're forcing the vibes because the other person doesn't even know if they want to take you seriously. And now you're turning them off. So a lot of times we're trying to control things instead of letting things be natural. So I want to watch this clip and then we're going to go ahead and react to it.
So I seen a TikToker on here. I need to start stitching people's stuff. But anyways, she was talking about how basically, she met a guy at a gym that she liked or whatever. And, it was cool. But he ended up right around the time they ended up talking or in that chance to get to know each other or exchanging numbers or some shit. He basically had ended up making one of the girls he was dating his girlfriend. And she was like, oh, I was genuinely happy for him because I know he's a dope guy. And I know for me, that just means that I'm getting closer to the person that's. And throughout my journey of healing and just getting to know myself and being okay with being by myself and changing the narrative of dating, I personally feel like where I fell with dating so many times is that I always went in thinking about the end game. Is this person going to be my husband? I went in with the intention of I want that person to be mine. I want to be in a relationship with them, as opposed to actually letting the relationship take its course and letting things slowly build up and get to know that person to even see if I want to be with them. Because there's been a lot of times where I've dated where I was so infatuated with the idea of a person and then I got to know them and I was just like, oh my God, you're a horrible.
Yeah, so what I want us to take from this video is that, us men, we're going to a lot of situations, a lot of times. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, we're thinking about the outcome. And when you're thinking about the outcome of situations, you're not enjoying the moment. You're overanalyzing, you're overthinking. Should I do this? Because she said this. I'm trying to get her back to the crib, but she doing this. When you're doing that, you're moving from a scarcity mindset. Best way to be is to always be in abundance. So when you're out on a date, it should almost be, and these are for my dudes that want a family. Obviously, if you don't want a family, you can move a little bit differently. But even if you don't want a family, you still shouldn't move with a hunger type of energy. So when you're moving with an abundance mindset, it's almost kind of like, man, I'm about to see what you can do for me. You know what I'm saying? What value do you have? You know what I'm saying? What are you all about? Recently I kind of shift my way of thinking, within the last couple months. My mindset now is if I'm on a first date with somebody, I'm not even trying to get you back to the crib or anything like that. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm gonna let it flow because I already know the way most men move. They're very pushy the first time. I want you thinking dang, does this dude even like me? You know what I'm saying? He ain't make a move. Usually dudes make a move. And that's going to get her wondering because naturally that's going to separate you from the pack where every other guy, they're trying to get her back to the crib on the first time. They're being very obvious about what they want. And when you move like that, you actually get the opposite. And, I love that woman said that in the video. You know what I'm saying? That she changed her way of doing things. Instead of being all forceful and I'm looking for a husband because my time clock is clicking. She started just basically saying that, look, I'm there to get to know the person, you know what I'm saying? See if they're actually for me. See, the best situations are when a woman is not putting pressure on you to do things a certain way. A best thing is when she's allowing you to lead the situation. You know what I'm saying? She's cool with going to get a coffee on the first date.
It seems like a lot of y'all had an issue with me accepting a coffee date as a first date. I'm sorry. I've been on plenty of steak dinner dates and 3-4 course meal dates that have ended in a bill being $500 one time, $600, $300. I mean, none of that matters because why I'm not with those people anymore. So regardless of a man taking me on a steak dinner or to coffee, it doesn't matter. I don't really understand like why y'all feel like the first date has to be dinner. Do y'all not feed yourselves? Do you not work every day? Do you not have money to buy yourself a steak? I'm confused. It's very apparent that some of y'all are telling on yourselves, and it's very apparent that a lot of y'all are just using men for a free meal. Okay. Because if you really wanted to get to know somebody, if you're really interested in somebody and they asked you to go to coffee, that wouldn't be an issue. You can feel a person out regardless of if you go and have a steak or if you have a cup of coffee. For me personally, I wanted to just get the feel for this person, get to know the person, a good 2 hours of spending time with this person before I go to have a sit-down dinner with them. So for me, I don't see an issue with having coffee. I don't see him being cheap. I'm just not really understanding the mentality of women these days.
She's cool with going to, walk downtown at the local park or whatever. She's cool with doing that because she's there to get to see, to get to know you, not to get to know my resources. Those are the type of women that you want. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dating, you want those type of women, not a woman where it's like, it's the game of how much money can you spend. That's not the game that I'm trying to play because I already know how that game ends. The game ends after I get the receipt. I ain't gonna never see you again. I ain't trying to play that type of game. Moral of the story is that you cannot go into things with unrealistic expectations. You can't go into things thinking about a certain outcome. Let things flow because naturally you're gonna put out that energy if that's what you're thinking. So the energy I put out in any situation I'm in, I'm just trying to have fun, enjoy myself, and see what's going on. What is it all about? If I'm on a date, I'm trying to see like, what are you interested in? What's your family dynamic like? Are you a good fit for me? Are you pessimistic? Are you optimistic? Are you feminine? Are you nurturing? Do you want to have kids? What's the future like for you? Where do you see yourself at? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because when you go into it like with the SEX mindset, now you're in a situation that's all you can think about. You thinking about what's fat back there. You thinking about these up here. You thinking about like, man, I can't wait to get back to the crib. But when you go into it with a different approach and you're kind of stimulating her mind, you're conversating, you're being a little humorous and things like that, that changes up the game because she sees that you don't have an agenda. Most men have an agenda. And what you got to understand with women is a lot of women, they're used to guys that they like, getting it and then dip it. You know what I'm saying? So for them, they're going to be reluctant to give it out to dudes early because they don't know if he going to dip or not. So your mindset got to be like, yo, I'm just trying to see here if you a good fit for me. Because when you have that mindset, she going to be like, dang, this is different. Because every dude I encounter is trying to get in my pants immediately. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be aware. Because if you was really in the abundance mindset, you wouldn't be there to be so pressed. You like, I'm chilling. I got options. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go meet up with somebody after I'm done with you type of thing. You got to have that type of mindset because when you move like that, it's showing the woman that, look, you know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily need you. I would like to have you around, but I don't need you. So I'm not pressed for you. This is why you can't fall in the idea, or my bad, let me rephrase it. This is why you can't fall in love with the idea of somebody. You know what I'm saying? You got to be aware in the present moment. You got to be logical. See what this person is about. Don't fall for the games. Watch people's actions. Very important. Because in this society, we get caught up in what people are saying, and we get caught up in the fantasy of our mindsets. We get caught up in what we want to happen instead of what actually is going on. So don't get caught up in that because that held me back for so many years. My unrealistic expectations, thinking that just because I like this person, they have to like me back. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? So just guys, let's make sure we continue to be great. We focus on ourselves and control what we can control. You know what I'm saying? And we not go into things with unrealistic expectations because that will destroy you. All right, guys, that's my video for today, man. I appreciate you guys for coming over to the channel. As always, guys, make sure you continue to cop my ebook. Link is in the description below. And guys, also make sure you continue to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And I'm gone.